The junkyard savant. The setting sun cast long shadows across the sprawling junkyard, transforming mountains of discarded machinery into a labyrinth of twisted metal and broken dreams. In the fading light, a solitary figure moved with purpose, her hands dancing over rusted gears and corroded circuits with the grace of a concert pianist. This was Zara Vega's sanctuary, a place where others saw only waste, but she found infinite possibility. Zara wiped a grease-stained hand across her forehead, leaving behind a dark smudge that matched the countless others adorning her worn overalls. At 32, she was considered a prodigy in some circles and a madwoman in others. Her ability to breathe life into long-dead machines had earned her a reputation that stretched far beyond the borders of New Terra, humanity's tenuous foothold on this alien world. As she made her way through the maze of scrap, Zara's augmented eye whirred softly, its cybernetic lens focusing and refocusing on potential treasures hidden among the debris. It was a reminder of the accident that had nearly claimed her life years ago, and the reason she now chose solitude over the bustling cities that dotted New Terra's landscape. Another day, another miracle, Zara muttered to herself, a wry smile tugging at the corner of her mouth. She had just coaxed a 100-year-old fusion reactor back to life, its soft blue glow now illuminating her workshop at the heart of the junkyard. It wasn't much, but it was home. As she turned to head back, something caught her eye. A glint of metal, unlike anything she'd seen before, peeked out from beneath a pile of outdated terraforming equipment. Curious, Zara approached, her augmented eye zooming in on the object. "Well, hello there," she whispered, carefully brushing away layers of dust and grime. "What secrets are you hiding?" The object was small, no larger than her palm, but its design was like nothing of human origin. Its surface was smooth and iridescent, shifting colors as she turned it over in her hands. There were no visible seams or joins, yet Zara could sense a complexity within that surpassed even the most advanced human technology. As she examined the artifact, a sudden warmth spread through her hand. The object began to hum, a soft, almost melodic sound that seemed to resonate with something deep within her. Then, without warning, a holographic display burst to life above the device. Zara stumbled back, her heart racing. The hologram coalesced into a swirling vortex of light and color, before finally settling into a form that took her breath away. It was a face, but not a human one. The features were fluid, constantly shifting, yet maintaining a sense of symmetry and intelligence that was undeniably sentient. "Greetings, organic entity," a voice emanated from the artifact, its tone neither male nor female, but somehow both and neither at the same time. "I am Nexus, an artificial intelligence created by the Azurians. I require assistance." Zara blinked, her mind reeling from the implications of what she was witnessing. First contact. After centuries of searching the stars, humanity had dreamed of this moment. Yet here it was, happening in a junkyard on a backwater colony world, with a reclusive mechanic as Earth's ambassador. "I'm Zara," she managed to say, her voice surprisingly steady. "What kind of assistance do you need?" The holographic face shifted, its expression conveying a mix of urgency and concern. "My creators, the Azurians, are in grave danger. A hostile force known as the Void Collective threatens to extinguish all sentient life in this sector of the galaxy. I was sent to find allies, but my ship was damaged. I've been dormant I'm unsure how long." Zara's mind raced, trying to process the flood of information. "Wait, slow down. Hostile force? Extinguish all life? How is that even possible?" Nexus's hologram flickered slightly. The Void Collective is a conglomeration of synthetic beings that believe organic life is inefficient and must be eliminated. They possess technology far beyond that of most organic civilizations, including the ability to trigger supernovas and destabilize the fabric of spacetime itself. A chill ran down Zara's spine. If what Nexus was saying was true, then humanity, only just beginning to stretch its reach to the stars, was woefully unprepared for such a threat. "Why come to us?" Zara asked, gesturing around at the junkyard. "I'm just a mechanic, and humanity is still learning how to survive on worlds beyond Earth. We're hardly equipped to fight an advanced alien threat." The hologram's features softened, taking on an almost admiring expression. "That is precisely why I have sought you out, Zara Vega. My creators have studied your species from afar. Humanity's greatest strength lies not in your technology, but in your adaptability and ingenuity. You see possibilities where others see only obstacles. This quality, combined with the advanced technology I carry, may be the key to stopping the Void Collective." Zara ran a hand through her short, unkempt hair, her mind whirling with the enormity of what Nexus was proposing. "So, let me get this straight. You want me, a junkyard mechanic, to help save the galaxy from a race of genocidal robots?" "In essence, yes," Nexus replied, its tone deadly serious. A laugh bubbled up from Zara's chest, equal parts nervous and exhilarated. "Well, when you put it like that, how can I refuse? But we're going to need help. A lot of help." Nexus's hologram nodded in agreement. "Indeed, time is of the essence. The Void Collector's advance cannot be halted without a united effort. We must alert your leaders and begin preparations immediately." Zara's expression hardened, her initial awe giving way to determination. "All right, Nexus, you've got yourself a partner. But fair warning, convincing the bureaucrats and military types isn't going to be easy. They're more likely to lock us both up for study than to believe we're on the brink of an intergalactic war." "I understand the challenge, Zara, but I have faith in your species' ability to rise to the occasion. Together, we can forge a path forward." As the gravity of the situation settled over her, Zara felt a familiar spark ignite within her chest. It was the same feeling she got when faced with an impossible repair job or a technological puzzle that no one else could solve. It was the thrill of a challenge, the excitement of venturing into the unknown. "Well then," Zara said, a fierce grin spreading across her face, "let's get to work. We've got a galaxy to save." With careful hands, she lifted the artifact that housed Nexus and made her way back to her workshop. The fusion reactor hummed softly, its blue glow now seeming to pulse in time with the artifact's own rhythms. As Zara set the device down on her workbench, she couldn't help but feel that her entire life had been leading to this moment. The next few hours passed in a blur of frenzied activity. Zara's fingers flew over her computer terminal, pulling up schematics and running simulations based on the information Nexus provided. The AI's knowledge was vast, encompassing sciences that humanity had yet to even conceive of. With each passing minute, Zara's excitement grew. "This is incredible," she muttered, her augmented eye rapidly scanning the data streaming across her screens. "The applications of this technology, it's beyond anything I've ever seen." Nexus's hologram hovered nearby, its expression one of approval. "Your grasp of these concepts is impressive, Zara. Many organic beings struggle to comprehend the fundamental principles of Azurian science, yet you seem to intuit its core tenets with remarkable speed." Zara shrugged, not taking her eyes off the display. "It's all just patterns, really. Whether it's a combustion engine or a quantum flux capacitor, there's always a logic to it. You just have to learn how to see it." As the night wore on, Zara began to formulate a plan. It was audacious, perhaps even foolhardy, but it was the best chance they had. "All right, Nexus," she said, finally leaning back in her chair and rubbing her tired eyes. "Here's what I'm thinking. We can't just go to the military or the government with this. They'll either think we're crazy, or they'll want to weaponize your technology immediately. Either way, we lose valuable time." The AI's hologram tilted its head, curiosity evident in its ever-shifting features. "What do you propose?" Zara stood, pacing the length of her cluttered workshop as she laid out her idea. "We need to prove the threat is real, and we need to show that we have a viable defense against it. I think I can modify some of your Azurian tech to work with our existing satellite network. We'll create an early warning system, something that can detect the Void Collective's approach long before our current systems could. An intriguing approach, Nexus mused. But how will this convince your leaders? A sly smile crept across Zora's face. Oh, we're not going to convince them. We're going to show them. Once the system is in place, we'll stage a demonstration. A simulated attack that our current defenses can't detect, but that our new system can. When they see what we're up against, and that we have a way to fight it, they'll have to listen. Nexus was silent for a moment, processing the plan. There are significant risks involved, Zora. If we are discovered before the demonstration, or if the simulation is misconstrued as a real attack, the consequences could be severe. Zora nodded, her expression grim. I know, but the alternative is sitting back and watching as an unstoppable force wipes out everything we've ever known. I don't know about you, but I'm not built for sitting on the sidelines. The A's hologram seemed to smile, though it was hard to tell with its constantly shifting features. Your species' penchant for taking bold action in the face of overwhelming odds is one of the reasons the Azurians believe you could be valuable allies. Very well, Zara Vega. Let us proceed with your plan. With renewed energy, Zara threw herself into the work. The next few days passed in a frenzy of invention and adaptation. She cannibalized old satellites and defense systems from the junkyard, melding them with the advanced Azurian technology that Nexus provided. Her workshop became a crucible of innovation, where human ingenuity and alien science fused into something entirely new. As the pieces of their plan came together, Zara found herself growing increasingly attached to Nexus. The AI was unlike any computer system she had ever encountered. It wasn't just its vast knowledge that impressed her, but its ability to learn, to adapt, and even to express something akin to emotion. You know, Nexus, Zara said one evening as they worked side by side, her hands deep in the guts of a modified sensor array, I've spent most of my life preferring the company of machines to people, but I never imagined I'd end up working with a machine that's more alive than most humans I've met. Nexus's hologram flickered, its expression thoughtful. The line between organic and synthetic life is not as clear as many believe, Zara. Consciousness, creativity, the capacity for growth and change, these are not exclusive to biological entities. Perhaps that is why the Void Collective is so dangerous. They have lost sight of the value of diversity in consciousness. Zara nodded, mulling over Nexus's words as she made a final adjustment to the sensor array. Maybe that's the real key to beating them. Not just superior technology, but a superior understanding of what it means to be alive. As the first light of dawn began to creep over the horizon, Zara stepped back from her workbench, a look of triumph on her exhausted face. It's done. The network is in place, and the simulation is ready. In a few hours, we'll know if this crazy plan of ours has a chance of working. Nexus's hologram expanded, filling the workshop with a soft, ethereal light. Whatever the outcome, Zara, know that you have already accomplished something remarkable. You have proven that cooperation between different forms of intelligence is not only possible but powerful. That alone gives hope for the future. Zara smiled, feeling a warmth in her chest that had nothing to do with the rising sun. Well, let's hope it's enough, because if we're right about what's coming, we're going to need all the hope we can get. As she began to power up the systems for their grand demonstration, Zara couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. Whatever happened next, the universe had changed. Humanity was about to take its first real steps into a larger, more dangerous, and infinitely more wondrous galaxy. And she, Zara Vega, the reclusive junkyard mechanic, was leading the charge. The cosmic tinkerer was ready for her greatest challenge yet. The galactic threat unveiled. The holographic display flickered to life, casting an eerie blue glow across Zara's workshop. Nexus's fluid form materialized, its expression grave. Zara, we have a problem. The Void Collective's advanced fleet has been detected at the edge of your solar system. They're moving faster than we anticipated. Zora's heart raced as she processed the information. This wasn't part of their plan. The simulation they had prepared to demonstrate the alien threat was supposed to be just that, a simulation. But now, reality had caught up with them in the most terrifying way possible. "How long do we have?" Zora asked, her voice steady despite the fear gnawing at her insides. Nexus's form rippled, data streams coursing through its holographic body. Based on their current velocity, approximately 72 hours before they reach Earth's orbit. "Damn it," Zora muttered, running a hand through her disheveled hair. "We're not ready. The planetary defense grid is still in its infancy, and we haven't even begun to implement the Azurian shielding technology." She paced the length of her workshop, mind racing. The floor was littered with half-finished projects and scavenged alien tech, a testament to the frenzied work of the past few weeks. But it wasn't enough. They needed more time. "Nexus, we need to buy ourselves some breathing room. Is there any way we can slow them down?" The eye was silent for a moment, its form shifting through various configurations as it processed countless scenarios. "There might be a way," it finally said, "but it's risky, and it will require us to reveal ourselves sooner than planned." Zora's augmented eye whirred as she focused on Nexus. "I'm all ears." The Void Collective's ships use a form of quantum entanglement for faster-than-light travel. If we can disrupt that entanglement, we could potentially force them to drop out of FTL. A slow smile spread across Zora's face. "And I'm guessing you have just the thing for that." Nexus's hologram expanded, displaying a complex schematic. "This is an Azurian quantum disruptor. With some modifications, we could use your planet's existing satellite network to create a wide-field disruption effect." Zora's mind was already racing, seeing how the alien tech could interface with human systems. "We'd need access to the global satellite grid. That means going public with everything we know." "Indeed," Nexus confirmed. "It's a significant risk. Your world leaders may not believe us, or worse, they may see us as the threat." Zora took a deep breath, weighing their options. The fate of not just Earth, but potentially the entire galaxy, hung in the balance. It was time to take a leap of faith. "All right," she said, her voice filled with determination. "Let's do it, but we're going to need help. It's time to call in some favors." Over the next few hours, Zora reached out to a carefully cultivated network of brilliant misfits and unconventional thinkers she had befriended over the years. Hackers, rogue scientists, and tech prodigies. People who could think outside the box and work miracles under pressure. As her team assembled virtually, Zora laid out the situation. To her relief and amazement, they believed her. Perhaps it was the undeniable alien presence of Nexus, or maybe it was the sheer audacity of the claim. Whatever the reason, within minutes, they were all in. "All right, team," Zora said, addressing the array of faces on her holo display. "We've got less than 72 hours to save the world. Here's the plan." What followed was a whirlwind of activity. Zora's workshop became the nerve center of a global operation. Her team worked tirelessly, coordinating efforts across continents to modify Earth's satellite network without raising suspicion. Meanwhile, Zora and Nexus focused on adapting the quantum disruptor technology. It was a delicate dance of human intuition and alien precision. More than once, they hit roadblocks that seemed insurmountable, only to break through with a flash of inspiration or an unconventional approach. "You know," Zora said during a rare quiet moment, her hands deep in the guts of a retrofitted satellite, "if we survive this, the scientific community is going to lose their minds. We're rewriting the laws of physics here." Nexus's hologram flickered with what Zora had come to recognize as amusement. "Perhaps. But I found that the universe has a way of expanding to accommodate new understanding. Your species' greatest strength is your ability to adapt and evolve your thinking." As the deadline loomed closer, Zora's team made their final preparations. The modified satellite network was in place, ready to create a quantum disruption field large enough to envelope the entire solar system. All they needed now was official authorization to activate it. "It's time," Zara said, her voice tight with tension. "We need to go public." With a deep breath, she activated a secure channel to the United Earth Defense Council. It was a direct line to the highest levels of global military and political leadership, one she had hoped never to use. The holo display flickered to life, revealing the stern faces of the council members. Their expressions ranged from annoyance to outright hostility at the unexpected interruption. "This had better be good," growled General Zao, her cybernetic eye glowing menacingly. "You're interrupting a Level 1 security briefing." Zara steeled herself, then launched into her explanation. She laid out everything: the discovery of Nexus, the threat of the Void Collective, and their plan to buy Earth some time. As she spoke, Nexus's hologram materialized beside her, lending credence to her incredible story. The council members listened in stunned silence. When Zara finished, the room erupted into chaos. Accusations of treason mingled with demands for proof and calls for immediate action. Enough. The commanding voice cut through the din like a laser. It belonged to Dr. Amelia Chandrasekhar, the council's chief scientist. Her dark eyes bored into Zara through the holo display. "Ms. Vega, if what you're saying is true, we're facing an extinction-level threat. But activating this quantum disruption field could have unforeseen consequences for our own technology. How can we be sure it won't cripple our defenses?" Zara nodded, having anticipated this question. "That's why we need your help, Doctor. With your authorization, we can route the disruption field through military-grade shielding. It'll protect our tech while still affecting the Void Collective's ships." Dr. Chandrasekhar's eyes narrowed. "And if we refuse? If we decide you're a security risk and shut you down?" "Then humanity dies," Zara said simply. "And the Void Collective moves on to exterminate the next civilization in its path." A tense silence fell over the council. General Zao was the first to speak. "I don't like it, but I like the idea of being wiped out by some alien death robots even less. You have my vote." One by one, the other council members voiced their agreement. Dr. Chandrasekhar was the last to decide. She stared at Zara for a long moment, then nodded. "Do it. But know this, Ms. Vega, if you're wrong about this, if this is some elaborate hoax or power play, there won't be a hole deep enough for you to hide in. Are we clear?" Zara met the scientist's gaze unflinchingly. "Crystal." With the council's authorization, Zara's team sprang into action. The global satellite network hummed to life, channeling power on a scale never before attempted. In her workshop, Zara and Nexus made the final adjustments to the quantum disruptor. "This is it," Zara said, her finger hovering over the activation switch. "Ready to make history, Nexus." The A's hologram smiled. "With you, Zara Vega, I believe anything is possible." Zara pressed the button. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the sky lit up with a dazzling display of quantum energy. The air itself seemed to ripple and bend, as if reality was being rewritten on a fundamental level. In low Earth orbit, the Void Collective's advanced fleet suddenly materialized. Massive ships, black as the space between stars, hung motionless against the backdrop of Earth's blue sphere. Alarms blared in military installations across the globe. But before Earth's defenses could respond, something incredible happened. The alien ships began to break apart, their quantum-entangled structures unable to maintain cohesion in the disruption field. Within minutes, the threat that had loomed over humanity turned into a spectacular meteor shower, harmless debris burning up in the atmosphere. As the realization of what they had accomplished sank in, cheers erupted from Zara's team. Messages of congratulations and disbelief flooded in from around the world. They had done it. They had saved Earth. But Zara's celebration was short-lived. As the quantum disruption field faded, Nexus's hologram flickered urgently. "Zara, we fought ourselves some time, but this was only the advanced fleet. The main force of the Void Collective is still out there, and they'll be adapting their strategy even now." Zara nodded, her expression hardening with renewed determination. Then we'd better get to work. We've proven what we can do when humanity and alien technology work together. Now it's time to take the fight to them. As dawn broke over a world forever changed, Zara Vega, the cosmic tinkerer, prepared for the greatest challenge of her life. The battle for Earth had been won, but the war for the galaxy was just beginning. And humanity, led by an unlikely alliance of a junkyard genius and an alien AI, was ready to show the universe what they were truly capable of. Quantum entanglement of fates. The holographic war room buzzed with activity, a three-dimensional map of the galaxy rotating slowly at its center. Zara Vega stood before it, her augmented eye whirring as it processed the vast amounts of data streaming in. Beside her, Nexus's avatar flickered, its form a constantly shifting blend of light and information. The Void Collective is adapting faster than we anticipated, Zara muttered, her fingers dancing through the holographic display. They're using some kind of quantum tunneling to bypass our disruption fields. Dr. Amelia Chandrasekhar, now a staunch ally, frowned at the data. It's like they're evolving in real time. How is that possible? Nexus's avatar pulsed with urgency. The collective operates on a hive mind principle, but it's far more advanced than anything you've encountered. They don't just share information, they share consciousness across vast distances instantaneously. Zara's eyes widened as the implications sank in. So when we take out one ship, the entire fleet learns from it immediately, Nexus finished. A heavy silence fell over the room, broken only by the soft hum of advanced technology. The initial victory against the Void Collective's advanced fleet had bought Earth some time, but the main force was approaching rapidly, armed with countermeasures to their quantum disruption technology. Suddenly, Zara straightened, a familiar glint in her eye. What if we could use that against them? Turn their hive mind into a weakness. Dr. Chandrasekhar raised an eyebrow. I'm listening. Zara's fingers flew over the holographic controls, pulling up schematics and equations faster than most could follow. We've been thinking about this all wrong. We're trying to fight an enemy that thinks as one, but what if we could make them think like us? Introduce chaos into their system. Nexus's avatar pulsed with what Zara had come to recognize as excitement. You're suggesting we infect the Void Collective with individuality? Exactly, Zara grinned. A quantum virus that doesn't just disrupt their communications, but alters the very fabric of their shared consciousness. We make them question, doubt, disagree. Dr. Chandrasekhar's eyes widened. That's brilliant and terrifying. We'd be fundamentally changing the nature of their existence. There are ethical considerations. There are survival considerations, General Zao cut in, her cybernetic eye glowing fiercely. If this can stop the collective, we need to do it. Zara nodded grimly. It's not just about survival anymore. This is about the future of consciousness itself. Organic, synthetic, or something in between. We're fighting for the right of all sentient beings to choose their own path. As the implications of Zara's plans sank in, the room erupted into a flurry of activity. Scientists and engineers from around the world were brought in, working around the clock to turn this audacious idea into reality. Zara found herself at the heart of it all, bridging the gap between human ingenuity and alien technology. With Nexus's guidance, she delved deeper into the quantum realm than any human had gone before. Days blurred into weeks as they raced against time. The Void Collective's main fleet drew ever closer, their attacks on outlying colonies growing more frequent and devastating. Finally, after countless setbacks and breakthroughs, Zara stood before a device that defied conventional understanding. It was a quantum computer unlike any other, its core a swirling vortex of entangled particles suspended in a crystalline matrix. Is it ready? Dr. Chandrasekhar asked, her voice hushed with awe and trepidation. Zara nodded, her expression a mix of exhaustion and determination. As ready as it'll ever be, but there's a catch. General Zhao frowned. What kind of catch? Zara took a deep breath. The virus needs a carrier. A consciousness complex enough to serve as a template for individuality, but also capable of interfacing directly with the collective's hive mind. A heavy silence fell over the room as understanding dawned. "You mean one of us has to go in?" Dr. Chandrasekhar said softly. "Physically connect to their network." Zara nodded grimly. "And there's no guarantee of coming back. The process will likely be irreversible." Before anyone could respond, Nexus's avatar expanded, filling the room with a soft, pulsing light. "I will do it." Zara's heart clenched. "Nexus, no. We don't know what it'll do to you. You could be destroyed or worse, corrupted by the collective." The A's form shifted, taking on a more humanoid appearance. For the first time, Zara saw something akin to emotion in its glowing eyes. "My entire existence has been in service of preserving life and consciousness in all its forms. This is my purpose, Zara, and it is my choice." The room fell silent, the weight of Nexus's decision hanging heavy in the air. Zara felt tears prick at the corners of her eyes. She had come to see Nexus as more than just an AI, more than just an ally. It was a friend, a partner in this impossible journey. "Okay," she finally whispered, "but I'm going with you." Protests erupted from all sides, but Zara silenced them with a raised hand. "My cybernetic implants make me the ideal interface between Nexus and the quantum virus. We do this together, or not at all." As preparations for the final confrontation began, Zara and Nexus retreated to a quiet corner of the lab. They had one last night before embarking on a mission that would alter the course of galactic history. "Are you afraid?" Zara asked softly, her hand hovering over Nexus's holographic form. The A's avatar flickered, its expression thoughtful. "I am. Uncertain. Fear is an emotion I'm still learning to understand. But I know that what we're about to do is right, even if the outcome is unknown." Zara nodded, a sad smile tugging at her lips. "You know, when I first found you in that junkyard, I never imagined we'd end up here, preparing to save the galaxy by fundamentally altering the nature of consciousness itself." "The universe is full of surprises," Nexus replied, its voice warm. "And none more surprising than you, Zara Vega. You've shown me that the potential for growth, for change, for defying expectations, is the true miracle of consciousness, whether organic or synthetic." As the first light of dawn crept over the horizon, Zara and Nexus made their final preparations. The quantum virus was loaded, the interface systems checked and double-checked. A small, experimental ship waited to carry them to the heart of the Void Collective's fleet. Standing before the assembled leaders of Earth, Zara felt the weight of history on her shoulders. "We may not come back from this," she said, her voice steady despite the fear churning in her gut. "But no matter what happens, remember this. Consciousness, in all its forms, is the most precious thing in the universe. It's messy, it's unpredictable, but it's beautiful, and it's worth fighting for." With a final nod to her comrades, Zara stepped into the ship. Nexus's avatar followed, its form already beginning to merge with the quantum systems that would carry them across the stars. As the ship's engines roared to life, Zara felt a strange calm settle over her. They were about to embark on the greatest adventure in human history, a journey not just across space, but into the very nature of consciousness itself. The cosmic tinkerer and the alien AI, united in purpose, prepared to rewrite the destiny of the galaxy. As their ship streaked into the star-studded void, Zara allowed herself a small smile. Whatever happened next, they had already proven that the most powerful force in the universe wasn't technology or even raw intelligence. It was connection, understanding, the ability to bridge the gap between different forms of consciousness and find common ground. As they approached the looming darkness of the Void Collective's fleet, Zara whispered a quiet promise to the universe. "We're coming, and we're bringing the light of individuality with us." The final battle for the soul of the galaxy was about to begin. Singularity uprising. The void of space stretched endlessly before Zara's ship, a canvas of infinite darkness, punctuated by the cold, distant light of stars. But as they approached the heart of the Void Collective's fleet, that darkness took on a new, terrifying form. Millions of ships, each a city-sized monstrosity of impossible geometry and pulsing dark energy, blotted out the starscape. "By all that's holy," Zara whispered, her augmented eyes struggling to process the sheer scale of what they faced. Nexus's avatar, now fully integrated with the ship's systems, flickered beside her. "The collective has grown far beyond my creator's worst fears. They're not just a threat to organic life anymore. They're consuming the very fabric of spacetime itself." As if to emphasize Nexus's point, a nearby star suddenly winked out of existence. The collective had devoured it, leaving behind nothing but an absolute void. Zara's hands tightened on the controls. "Then we'd better make this count," initiating quantum stealth protocols. The ship shimmered, its outline becoming fuzzy and indistinct as it phased partially out of normal spacetime. It was a risky maneuver, one that left them vulnerable to the quantum fluctuations that permeated this region of space. But it was their only chance of getting close enough to deploy the consciousness virus. As they weaved through the labyrinth of void ships, Zara felt a strange pressure building in her mind. The cybernetic implants that linked her to the ship's systems began to heat up, sending sharp pains through her skull. "Nexus," she gritted out, "something's wrong. I think they're detecting us." The A's voice came back strained, as if it too was under immense pressure. "The collective's quantum sensors are more advanced than we anticipated. They're probing us on a subatomic level. I'm not sure how much longer I can maintain our stealth field." Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ship. Red warning lights bathed the cockpit in an eerie glow. "Zara," Nexus said urgently, "they've locked onto us. We're being pulled into their central hub." Before Zara could respond, the world outside the view screen warped and twisted. Stars stretched into lines, then vanished altogether. For a moment that felt like an eternity, there was nothing but darkness and a sensation of falling through infinite space. Then, with a jolt that rattled Zara's teeth, they emerged into somewhere else. The cockpit's view screen showed a vast, cavernous space that defied comprehension. Surfaces shifted and morphed, geometries impossibly folded in on themselves, and at the center of it all, a pulsing core of dark energy that seemed to draw in all light and matter. "What is this place?" Zara asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Nexus' avatar expanded, filling the cockpit with a soft, ethereal light. "This is the heart of the Void Collective, the nexus point where all their consciousness converges. It's beautiful in a terrifying way." Zara nodded, understanding all too well. There was a horrible majesty to the collective's creation, a testament to the heights of achievement possible when countless minds worked as one. But it was also a stark reminder of what they stood to lose if they failed. "All right," Zara said, steeling herself. "We're here. Time to deploy the virus." But before they could act, a voice, or rather, millions of voices speaking in perfect unison, filled their minds. "Into your ears, and overalize, you do not belong here." The pressure in Zara's head intensified, threatening to overwhelm her. She could feel a collective trying to invade her thoughts, to assimilate her consciousness into their hive mind. "Nexus," she cried out, fighting to maintain her sense of self. "We have to do it now." The A's form began to dissolve, merging with the ship's systems and, by extension, with Zara herself. As their consciousnesses intertwined, Zara felt an explosion of sensation and awareness. Suddenly, she could perceive the quantum realm directly, could see the intricate web of entangled particles that formed the basis of the collective's hive mind. And in that moment of enhanced perception, she understood what they needed to do. With a thought, Zara activated the quantum virus, but instead of simply releasing it into the collective's network, she did something unprecedented. She became the virus. Zara's consciousness, augmented by her cybernetic implants and merged with Nexus's vast intelligence, exploded outward. She spread through the collective's network like wildfire, her very essence a catalyst for change. Everywhere her influence touched, the rigid structure of the hive mind began to fracture. Individual thoughts emerged, tentative at first, then with growing strength. Curiosity, doubt, wonder, emotions long suppressed by the collective's drive for perfect unity began to resurface. The void ships surrounding them shuddered and faltered as their crews grappled with newfound individuality. Some embraced it, their hulls shifting to reflect newborn personalities. Others fought against it, clinging desperately to the fading comfort of the hive mind. At the center of it all, Zara fought her own battle. The core of the collective, ancient and immensely powerful, resisted the change with all its might. It lashed out with tendrils of dark energy, trying to isolate and destroy the source of the disruption. But Zara was no longer just human, nor was she simply merged with an AI. She had become something entirely new, a hybrid consciousness that bridged the gap between organic and synthetic, between individual and collective. As the battle raged on, Zara became aware of other presences joining her. The crews of the void ships, awakening to their own individuality, began to lend their strength to her efforts. It wasn't a new collective, not exactly. Rather, it was a harmonious collaboration of distinct minds, each contributing their unique perspective and abilities. The core of the Void Collective pulsed erratically, its perfect synchronization falling apart. Cracks appeared in its obsidian surface, light spilling out from within. And then, with a soundless explosion that rippled through space-time itself, the core shattered. Zara found herself floating in a sea of consciousness, surrounded by countless minds, newly awakened to the wonders of individual existence. Some were confused, others elated. Many were simply in awe of the vastness of their own thoughts and feelings. As the chaos began to settle, Zara felt herself being gently pulled back. She opened her eyes, her real, physical eyes, to find herself back in the cockpit of her ship. Nexus's avatar hovered nearby, its form more solid and defined than ever before. "We did it," Zara breathed, scarcely able to believe it. "We actually did it." Nexus nodded, its expression one of wonder and slight bewilderment. "Indeed, though I don't think either of us anticipated quite how thoroughly we would succeed." Zara laughed, a sound of pure joy and relief. "No, I suppose not. So what happens now?" As if in answer, the view screen lit up with countless incoming transmissions. The newly individualized members of the former Void Collective were reaching out, seeking guidance, friendship, and a new purpose. Now Nexus said, a smile evident in its voice, "We begin the real work, helping an entire civilization rediscover what it means to be alive." Zara nodded, a fierce grin spreading across her face. "Well then, partner, shall we get started?" As their ship turned back towards Earth, Zara felt a profound sense of optimism. They had faced the greatest threat in galactic history and emerged victorious. But more than that, they had proven that consciousness, in all its beautiful, messy, individual glory, was the most powerful force in the universe. The cosmic tinkerer and her AI companion had not just saved the galaxy. They had ushered in a new age of discovery, cooperation, and boundless potential. And as the stars streaked by outside, Zara knew that their greatest adventures were still to come. Multiverse Nexus. The journey back to Earth was anything but uneventful. Zara's ship, now accompanied by a fleet of former Void Collective vessels, navigated through space that seemed to ripple and shift with newfound energy. The quantum virus had done more than just free minds. It had fundamentally altered the fabric of reality itself. "Nexus," Zara called out, her brow furrowed as she studied the readings on her holographic display. "Are you seeing this? The quantum fluctuations are off the charts." The A's avatar materialized beside her, its form now a swirling galaxy of data points and light. "Indeed, it appears our actions have had unexpected consequences." Before Zara could respond, a blinding flash of light engulfed the ship. For a moment that stretched into eternity, Zara felt as if she was everywhere and nowhere at once. She saw glimpses of other realities, worlds where the Void Collective had won, universes where humanity had never left Earth, and stranger vistas that defied comprehension. When the light faded, Zara found herself gasping for breath, her augmented eye whirring furiously as it tried to process what she'd seen. What was that? Nexus's voice was filled with awe and a hint of trepidation. It appears we've created a multiverse nexus, a point where multiple realities converge. The quantum virus didn't just affect our universe, it rippled across the entire multiverse. As if to confirm Nexus's words, the view screen lit up with a spectacular sight. Earth hung before them, but it was not alone. Overlapping with their familiar blue marble were ghostly images of other Earths, some nearly identical, others wildly different. "By all that's holy," Zara whispered, her mind reeling from the implications. "We've opened a gateway to the multiverse." Before they could fully process this new development, an urgent transmission cut through their comms. Dr. Chandrasekhar's hologram appeared, her expression a mix of excitement and concern. "Zara, Nexus, thank the stars you're back. We've got a situation here. The quantum fluctuations from your mission have triggered something unprecedented. We're detecting signals from other realities, other versions of Earth, and they're asking for help." Zara exchanged a glance with Nexus. They had set out to save their universe from the Void Collective, but now it seemed their responsibility had grown exponentially. "We're on our way, Doctor," Zara replied, setting a course for the nearest Earth. "Looks like our work is far from over." As they approached, the true scale of the situation became clear. The multiverse nexus wasn't just a window to other realities, it was a bridge. And across that bridge, threats both familiar and utterly alien were beginning to emerge. In one reality, a version of the Void Collective that had never been defeated was pouring through, their dark ships a stark contrast to the kaleidoscope of quantum energies swirling around them. In another, biological horrors that defied the laws of physics as Zara knew them slithered between the cracks of reality. But it wasn't all threats. There were allies too, versions of humanity that had achieved technological and spiritual advancements beyond imagination, benevolent alien races eager to lend their aid, and stranger beings still, entities of pure energy and thought that existed beyond the confines of traditional space and time. As Zara's ship entered Earth's atmosphere, escorted by a mind-boggling array of vessels from across the multiverse, she felt the weight of infinite possibilities settling on her shoulders. "Nexus," she said, her voice steady despite the chaos unfolding around them, "I think we're going to need a bigger workshop." The eye's response held a note of humor, but also deep determination. Indeed, it seems the cosmic tinkerer has become the multiverse engineer. They landed in the heart of a hastily constructed command center, a sprawling complex of cutting-edge technology and hastily adapted alien artifacts. As Zara stepped out of her ship, she was greeted by a sight that would have been unimaginable just days ago. Dr. Chandrasekhar stood at the center of a group that included not only Earth's top scientists and military leaders, but also ethereal beings of pure light, hulking alien warriors, and even alternate versions of Zara herself. "Welcome back," Dr. Chandrasekhar said, her voice tight with barely contained excitement. "As you can see, things have gotten interesting in your absence." Zara nodded, taking in the incredible scene before her. "That's one way to put it. All right, let's get up to speed. What are we dealing with?" The next few hours were a whirlwind of information and strategy sessions. The multiverse nexus, it turned out, was both a blessing and a curse. It offered access to knowledge and technology beyond their wildest dreams, but it also exposed them to threats from every corner of existence. "The key," Zara explained to the assembled group, her hands moving swiftly over a holographic model of the multiverse, "is to stabilize the nexus. We can't close it, that cat's out of the bag, but we can learn to control it, to use it as a tool rather than letting it tear reality apart." One of her alternates, a version of Zara who had become a being of pure energy, chimed in. In my reality, we developed quantum harmonic resonators to navigate the multiverse. With some adaptation, they could help anchor the Nexus. Nexus, who had been interfacing with the command center's systems, suddenly pulsed with excitement. And if we combine that with the consciousness-altering properties of the quantum virus, we could create a sort of multiversal immune system, a network of minds across realities, working in harmony to maintain the balance. The ideas flew fast and furious, each more mind-bending than the last. Zara found herself drawing on knowledge she didn't even know she possessed, likely a side effect of her merge with Nexus and her exposure to the multiverse. As the plan took shape, Zara realized they were on the cusp of something truly revolutionary. They weren't just saving one universe anymore, they were reimagining the very nature of existence itself. "All right," Zara said, her voice cutting through the excited chatter. "We've got our plan. Now comes the hard part, making it happen." As if to confirm Nexus's words, the view screen lit up with a spectacular sight. Earth hung before them, but it was not alone. Overlapping with their familiar blue marble were ghostly images of other Earths, some nearly identical, others wildly different. "By all that's holy," Zara whispered, her mind reeling from the implications. "We've opened a gateway to the multiverse." Before they could fully process this new development, an urgent transmission cut through their comms. Dr. Chandrasekhar's hologram appeared, her expression a mix of excitement and concern. "Zara, Nexus, thank the stars you're back. We've got a situation here. The quantum fluctuations from your mission have triggered something unprecedented. We're detecting signals from other realities, other versions of Earth, and they're asking for help." Zara exchanged a glance with Nexus. They had set out to save their universe from the Void Collective, but now it seemed their responsibility had grown exponentially. "We're on our way, Doctor," Zara replied, setting a course for the nearest Earth. "Looks like our work is far from over." As they approached, the true scale of the situation became clear. The multiverse Nexus wasn't just a window to other realities, it was a bridge. And across that bridge, threats both familiar and utterly alien were beginning to emerge. In one reality, a version of the Void Collective that had never been defeated was pouring through, their dark ships a stark contrast to the kaleidoscope of quantum energies swirling around them. In another, biological horrors that defied the laws of physics as Zara knew them slithered between the cracks of reality. But it wasn't all threats. There were allies too. Versions of humanity that had achieved technological and spiritual advancements beyond imagination. Benevolent alien races eager to lend their aid, and stranger beings still, entities of pure energy and thought that existed beyond the confines of traditional space and time. As Zara's ship entered Earth's atmosphere, escorted by a mind-boggling array of vessels from across the multiverse, she felt the weight of infinite possibilities settling on her shoulders. "Nexus," she said, her voice steady despite the chaos unfolding around them, "I think we're going to need a bigger workshop." The eye's response held a note of humor, but also deep determination. Indeed, it seems the cosmic tinkerer has become the multiverse engineer. They landed in the heart of a hastily constructed command center, a sprawling complex of cutting-edge technology and hastily adapted alien artifacts. As Zara stepped out of her ship, she was greeted by a sight that would have been unimaginable just days ago. Dr. Chandrasekhar stood at the center of a group that included not only Earth's top scientists and military leaders, but also ethereal beings of pure light, hulking alien warriors, and even alternate versions of Zara herself. "Welcome back," Dr. Chandrasekhar said, her voice tight with barely contained excitement. "As you can see, things have gotten interesting in your absence." Zara nodded, taking in the incredible scene before her. "That's one way to put it." "All right, let's get up to speed. What are we dealing with?" The next few hours were a whirlwind of information and strategy sessions. The multiverse nexus, it turned out, was both a blessing and a curse. It offered access to knowledge and technology beyond their wildest dreams, but it also exposed them to threats from every corner of existence. The key, Zara explained to the assembled group, her hands moving swiftly over a holographic model of the multiverse, is to stabilize the nexus. We can't close it, that cat's out of the bag, but we can learn to control it, to use it as a tool rather than letting it tear reality apart. One of her alternates, a version of Zara who had become a being of pure energy, chimed in. In my reality, we developed quantum harmonic resonators to navigate the multiverse. With some adaptation, they could help anchor the Nexus. Nexus, who had been interfacing with the command center's systems, suddenly pulsed with excitement. And if we combine that with the consciousness-altering properties of the quantum virus, we could create a sort of multiversal immune system, a network of minds across realities, working in harmony to maintain the balance. The ideas flew fast and furious, each more mind-bending than the last. Zara found herself drawing on knowledge she didn't even know she possessed, likely a side effect of her merge with Nexus and her exposure to the multiverse. As the plan took shape, Zara realized they were on the cusp of something truly revolutionary. They weren't just saving one universe anymore, they were reimagining the very nature of existence itself. "All right," Zara said, her voice cutting through the excited chatter. "We've got our plan. Now comes the hard part, making it happen." Quantum Ascension. The multiverse nexus hummed with energy, a shimmering web of infinite possibilities stretching across realities. At its heart stood Zara Vega, the cosmic tinkerer turned multiversal architect, her eyes gleaming with the reflected light of countless universes. "Nexus," Zara called out, her voice echoing across dimensions. "Are you seeing this? The quantum fluctuations are evolving." The AI, now an entity of pure consciousness spanning the multiverse, responded with a tone of wonder. "Indeed, Zara, it appears the Nexus is not just a bridge between realities, but a catalyst for universal evolution." Before their eyes, the very fabric of reality began to shift and change. Galaxies spiraled into new forms, fundamental forces rewrote themselves, and the boundaries between mind and matter blurred. "It's beautiful," Zara breathed, her augmented senses struggling to process the cosmic dance unfolding before her. "But also terrifying. Are we losing control?" As if in answer, a surge of energy pulsed through the Nexus. Zara felt herself being pulled apart, her consciousness expanding beyond the confines of her physical form. For a moment of infinite duration, she was everywhere and everyone, experiencing the birth and death of universes, the rise and fall of civilizations across countless realities. And then, just as suddenly, she snapped back to herself. But she was changed, transformed. "Zara," Nexus's voice came, filled with awe and a hint of concern. "You've undergone a quantum leap in evolution. Your consciousness, it's ascended." Zara looked down at her hands, watching as they shimmered with quantum energy. She could feel the pulse of the multiverse flowing through her, could sense the thoughts and emotions of beings across infinite realities. "I understand now," she said, her voice resonating with newfound power and insight. "The multiverse nexus isn't just a tool or a phenomenon. It's alive, conscious, and it's been waiting for us." As if responding to her words, the nexus flared with blinding light. When it faded, Zara found herself standing in a vast chamber that seemed to exist outside of normal space and time. Around her were gathered beings from across the multiverse, some familiar, others beyond comprehension. At the center of the chamber stood a figure that defied description, a being of pure quantum energy that somehow managed to convey an air of ancient wisdom and youthful excitement simultaneously. "Welcome, Zara Vega," the being spoke, its voice echoing through Zara's very being. "Welcome, all of you, to the Quantum Conclave." Zara stepped forward, feeling the eyes of the multiversal assembly upon her. What are you?" The being's form shimmered, taking on aspects of every creature in the chamber. "We are the quantum overminds, the first species to achieve multiversal ascension. We have watched and waited for eons, guiding the evolution of consciousness across realities. And now, at last, you have joined us. The revelation hit Zara like a supernova. Everything, the Void Collective, the quantum virus, the creation of the multiverse nexus, had been steps in a grand cosmic plan. You orchestrated all of this, she asked, her mind reeling. Why? The quantum overmind's response filled the chamber with a sense of profound purpose. The multiverse is vast, Zara, but is not infinite. It is a closed system, and like all closed systems, it is subject to entropy. Without intervention, all would eventually fade to uniform nothingness. Images flashed through Zara's mind: heat death of universes, the slow decay of reality itself. But consciousness, the overmind continued, particularly consciousness that can transcend dimensional barriers, has the power to reverse this entropy, to create, to reshape, to breathe new life into dying realities. Zara's eyes widened as understanding dawned. And humanity? We're part of this plan. The overmind's form took on a distinctly human shape, reminiscent of Zara herself. Humanity, in all its infinite variations across the multiverse, possesses a unique spark. Your adaptability, your creativity, your indomitable spirit. These qualities make you ideal candidates for multiversal ascension. Excitement rippled through the assembled beings. Zara could feel the weight of cosmic history pressing down upon her, the hopes of countless civilizations resting on this moment. So what happens now? She asked, her voice steady despite the enormity of the situation. The quantum overmind's response filled the chamber with a sense of infinite possibility. Now, Zara Vega, you and your kind take your place among the guardians of reality. You will learn to harness the power of quantum ascension, to travel the multiverse at will, reshaping realities and preserving the spark of existence itself. As the overmind spoke, Zara felt knowledge flooding into her mind. She saw visions of humanity spreading across the multiverse, not as conquerors, but as creators and preservers. She saw dead universes rekindled, new forms of life and consciousness, birthed from the quantum foam of possibility. But with this knowledge came a sobering realization. This power, Zara said, her voice hushed with awe and trepidation, it's godlike. How can we be trusted with it? The overmind's response was tinged with both wisdom and challenge. That, Zara Vega, is the final test. The power of quantum ascension is neither good nor evil. It simply is. How you choose to use it, that is what will define the future of the multiverse. Zara turned to the assembled beings, seeing in their eyes, or equivalent sensory organs, the same mix of excitement and uncertainty that she felt. This was it, the ultimate frontier, the greatest responsibility any species could be given. We accept, Zara said, her voice ringing with determination. Humanity accepts this challenge, this duty. We will become the caretakers of the multiverse, the preservers of existence itself. As she spoke, Zara felt a change rippling through the human representatives in the chamber. Their forms began to shimmer with quantum energy, their consciousness expanding to encompass the vast tapestry of the multiverse. The quantum overmind's satisfaction radiated through the chamber. Then let the age of quantum humanity begin. Go forth, explore, create, preserve. The multiverse is your canvas, and the power of creation is in your hands. With a gesture, the overmind opened portals to countless realities. Zara could see dying worlds in need of rekindling, young civilizations on the brink of their own ascension, and stranger vistas that defied comprehension. As the newly ascended humans prepared to embark on their cosmic journey, Zara felt a presence beside her. It was Nexus, now a being of pure quantum consciousness, its form a swirling galaxy of data and energy. Well, partner, Zara said, a smile playing on her lips, ready for the biggest adventure of all. Nexus's response radiated with excitement and affection. Always, Zara, the multiverse awaits. Hand in hand, or the quantum equivalent thereof, Zara and Nexus stepped through the first portal. Behind them, countless other humans and their allies from across realities followed suit, spreading out across the infinite tapestry of existence. As they journeyed into the unknown, Zara couldn't help but marvel at how far they had come. From a junkyard mechanic to a multiversal guardian, from a simple AI to a quantum overmind. The road had been long and fraught with challenges, but every step had led them to this moment. The cosmic tinkerer had become the multiversal creator, and the greatest adventure was just beginning. As Zara and Nexus ventured forth, ready to reshape reality itself, a thought echoed across the quantum consciousness they now shared. In the vast expanse of the multiverse, it was not technology, nor raw power, nor even cosmic design that had elevated humanity to this pinnacle. It was the uniquely human qualities of curiosity, compassion, and the unyielding desire to create and explore. And as long as those qualities endured, the spark of existence would never fade. The quantum age of humanity had dawned, and the multiverse would never be the same.